Hello and welcome to the workshop, episode number 322. Tonight on the workshop, we've got myself, Jester Lind, as well as Carolyn and
Hello? I,
Queen Momo. If you're unfamiliar with the workshop, here's how it works. We've each been given an assigned topic. We've written 5 minutes on that topic. In between sets, we'll offer each other notes and feedback. And then in the second session, we will work on our own material and do the same thing again. And opportunities for plugging at the end. First up, we've got Carolyn.
so my topic was assessments. Before I start, disclaimer. This is a work of fiction. Names, places, characters, and incidents are either the product of the author's imagination or used fictitiously, and any resemblance to any person, living or dead, organizations, events, or locale is entirely coincidental. So, I have a PhD in psychology. Whenever I tell people that, they say, "Are you analyzing me?" Yeah, you're paranoid. Or, "Tell me, what am I thinking now?" You're thinking that I have ESP and not a PhD. But actually, I failed Mind Reading 101, which sucks because that would be great. I could actually know what the hell my boss wants me to do at any given day. But I am not actually a psychologist. I am a subject matter expert in program evaluation. I know what you're thinking. Oh, yes, I failed Mind Reading 101, but I do know how to do data assessments, and 99.43 out of 100 times, anytime I tell someone I am a subject matter expert in program evaluation, the response is, "Oh, so what do I do?" Assessments. And what are assessments? Well, in theory, they are evidence-based, objective analyses of the data used to determine the merit or worth of educational, social, health, or commercial program. But in reality, every time our team comes to agreement on what the assessment should say, given all the limitations in the data set and the political pressures left, right, and center, yes, you had a program. It had clients. And here is your participation trophy. So, if it's still not clear what I do, here is some mixed media to clarify. And as usual, I'm having technical difficulties accessing the data that I need. But one moment. Evaluate, investigate, calculate, approximate, communicate, don't exaggerate, designate, a new work template, square pegs, round holes that we all hate, administrate, pontificate, don't advocate, invite debate. They'll ask you to manipulate to make your sorry state look great, mediate, fabricate, emulate a perfect state, regurgitate the pride that you just ate, deliberate, pontificate, recreate, activate, intellectually masturbate the heavy weight of day to day to date, demonstrate the perfect state, calculate, deviate, just don't exacerbate the paperwork we hate, make your eight, pontificate, invite debate, capitulate, make their sorry state look great, annihilate the database we hate. It's much too late. It's gonna detonate. The last update was 1988. And that is our results and conclusion, and now we're ready for discussion.
Loved it. Loved it. That song was fucking catchy as fuck. Uh,
Are you
my mom,
familiar with the original?
vaguely. I think my mom listened to it in the car one time.
Yeah, I'm probably a lot older than you, so yeah. Hippopotamonstrosity equipped phobia.
Yeah, that's some Twitch going on right now.
Is that someone diagnosing me?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know who that is. They're
Well, remember, I'm
Hip
not a
Hop Anonymous.
psychologist, so maybe someone who is a psychologist. The fear of long words. Thank you. I
Oh,
knew there was something I forgot in grad school.
oh, that's mean to do that. Is that really what the fear of long words is? That's the meanest thing to name something since dyslexia. Oh, I loved it.
Oh, thank you. I've actually done that. Well, I just wrote that song this past couple of days, but I had different versions of it. One I performed back in 2009 at a children's mental health conference because I was the evaluator of that program, and we had this talent show, and I thought, why not? And so got a couple of some of the other staff and even some of the youth representatives, and they were doing the little dance with the sign. Well, I don't know if you have to watch the video for it to make sense. But they had these signs. Then when he said, well, don't exacerbate the paperwork we hate, they threw the papers everywhere. So that was probably the last thing I ever did comically in public until recently.
Loved it. Way to go. Welcome back to the scene.
Good deal.
All right. Next up is me, and my assigned topic was graft. And I didn't know what that I know. Okay, so I first I and he Kevin told me it's the crime or the procedure. And I went, wait, the crime? I was not familiar with graft. Graft means corruption, often involving bribery. But I was grift or graft? I don't know. So grifting is a sneaky scheme to take away someone's money. Grafting is a sneaky scheme to take away someone else's money. And I was having a real difficult time breaking it down. So what do I do when I'm having a difficult time? I use some data analysis. Do we have any fans of statistical data analysis in the house? Oh yeah, playing to the crowd. So I decided, what am I gonna do? Okay, so here's what I did, you guys. I graphed. I graphed on a graft. You see, to see graft, I graphed the corruption perception index, which is the amount of graft people perceive, to see the graft graphically. Um, as you can see here, over, I don't know, like here, let me, oh, which way? Other way? Which way? No, wait, am I mirrored? Okay, yeah, over here. See this bottom? America was over here, and then the graph index started going up. Uh, yeah, that was all on account of President. Oh God, what did he do now? Now I don't know if that's his name, but that's what I heard him often referred to as from here in Canada. So I might not have paid attention to some critical shit in American politics. But you know what? You can graft things together too. Like you can if you cut it just right and line everything up, you can make a tree that's half apple tree and half pear tree. Or you could make a movie that's half Zack Snyder and half Joss Whedon. If you cut it just right. Although that latter one, it's not as likely to bear fruit. Burn on Joss Whedon. Luckily, we will have no problem treating that burn with a skin graft. It'll be extra easy since Joss Whedon is such a huge ass. There's a lot to cut from. Although, in all fairness to Joss, there was a lot to cut from the Snyder cut too. But Joss, what Joss did cut was pretty much everything that included skin whiter than the background of my map. And yeah, he also then filled it in with like rape jokes and but whatever, that was it was bad. But you know what the Joss Whedon cut was a tight little cut, a tight little white ass pile of ass of a movie, and I like big cuts. I cannot lie. Anyways, that's my time on graft, you guys. Yeah. I had learned a new word today, though.
It's good to have operational definitions of every term you're using,
Yeah.
including that
Yeah.
one that they had earlier that I will never remember for fear of long words.
Oh yeah, that one.
So I got someone said this. I assume that's me. It could be either you or me. I don't know. It might be me. I don't know. People are watching us on Twitch now though, so that's fun.
Yeah, and someone just sexually harassed you.
Yeah, I think. Thanks.
Mm.
Thanks. Thanks. Just all right. Next up, we got Queen Momo.
Hello. Okay, so I'm out of South Carolina. For those of you who don't know, I'm in Greenville, South
Woo.
Carolina. Woo, yeah, the state that started the Confederate War. Woo. Um, so the word I was given was homophones. Okay, so I'm gonna be real and up straight with y'all. I was like, this was really hard, so I'm gonna give it my best shot. All right, here we go. So, like, I was talking to my cousin the other day, and she's a simple girl, bless her heart. She's so simple. And she came up to me and she's like, Mo, I had an epiphany. I said, well, what was your epiphany, honey? She's like, oh, I just realized that everybody else that has the same iPhone as me, well, they got a homophone, because it's the same. Child, what? I looked at my cousin. I was like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "Yeah, I went to the dictionary online and Wikipedia. Homo means the same. And I got a phone, so I figured it was the same phone." I'm like, "Sweetie, it don't work that way. It don't work that way." "Oh, you mean the phone gay? Well, is that why it has the thing that plugs itself into another thing?" I was like, "No, that's not how that works either. That's not. No, that's not how that. That's not homo. That's not how homo works." And she's like, well, I realize, all kinds of homos. We got Homo sapien. I guess I'm a homo too. I was like, cuz that's not how it works, honey. I'm like, the words that sound the same, but they have different meanings. And she looks at me. She's like, what you mean, cuz? I was like, like I see you want to go to the sea next year, but because of Corona, we can't afford to go. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I got a lot of silence from her on that. The CNC kind of just lost her. Like I said, I love my cousin dearly, but she's simple. She's so simple. Bless her heart. She's so simple. And then she's like, well, you know what, Mo? If they're going to be like that, then I guess, honest and truly, they really don't have to sound the same because you know what? It's like when I take my kids to school, that teacher is the same as a babysitter. There you go, homophone. I was like, no, no, cuz, no, but that's okay. I love you anyway. We'll just go back to your idea of what a phone, the same phone is. That's fine. That's fine. And the sad part, y'all, is that, she finished high school. She did. She got her diploma and everything. And she's just stuck on what she's stuck on. Yep, yep. So bless her heart. She thinks everyone with the same phone has a homophone. And that's all I got so far, y'all.
I encounter a common problem where every time I call a home phone that's a homo's phone, I end up with two voices that sound alike.
I like that.
Well, I am a deviant here. I guess I don't know if you'd say this is a heterophone or this is but it's a phone that doesn't fit in with any of the other phones.
And it's a heterophone.
It's an
There you
Android.
go. Ah, well, I actually am using an Android right now. I prefer Android. So you and I are
Oh,
homophones
there
together.
we go.
That was a fun take on that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Unexpected.
Yeah. That didn't sound like what I thought it would sound like. I thought it would sound like some of the other stuff I've heard from other homophone dudes. I think I've heard someone else got that word one time.
Okay.
No kidding.
It's an interesting one because I was like, I could go the nerd route in this, but I was like, no, then I'll lose people.
I went the nerd route.
Yeah, go with the nerd route.
I actually appreciate your route, Carolyn, because I'm a mental health therapist by day, so I
Really?
appreciate it. Yes, I'm a licensed therapist, and I appreciate that
Oh,
nerd route so much, especially with assessments. I was like, yes, I live by the DSM-5. That's my Bible.
oh, yes. We got both stumped on that word, that phobia word.
Yeah, yeah, that was cruel. That's cruel and unusual punishment for someone who has a fear of long words. And I
Oh,
think that's
that's
why they
real.
did it.
So if you're into the DSM, like I had to be in my former career, one of my pet peeves is when someone would say, "Oh, you have to study instead of going out. You're being antisocial."
Oh,
And it's
that
like,
is such a pet peeve of mine. I'm like, no, that's asocial. I'm not a
yes,
killer.
yes, like no, I'm not being antisocial. I'm being obsessive compulsive. If I were antisocial, I'd be beating the shit out of you right now.
Exactly. And smiling. Have you seen the Joker?
My favorite part of the DSM-5 is when you're tied up and you can't do anything about it. Wait, did you say BDSM? Wait, what?
Oh,
I like that
took
one.
me a
I
minute.
like that one.
I just misunderstood what was going on. I think that was some deviant social behavior I just demonstrated.
I like that
I'm
one.
sure that's in there somewhere.
Oh,
Oh, that's funny. I like that one.
All right. We are now done with our assigned topics, and we get out from under the oppressive thumb of this crazy shit. And now we get to work on our own material. Back at the top of the rotation, we got Carolyn.
no, we're back already.
Woo!
So I already covered assessments, and now I've got another controversial A word that I'm going to talk about, Antifa. Now, I will say that this act that I have is going to be really difficult because I'm used to performing in front of a mirrorized screen. So this is going to be. I have no sense of direction as it is, so I'm going to screw this up. I'm going to give it my best shot anyway. And I was saying, what does direction have to do with Antifa? Well, in this case, it has everything. And that one mistake I made was just throwing my papers everywhere because now I lost my script. So let me find it. Oh, here we go. So the question is, what is Antifa? And of course, now you're Canadian, so I don't know if you're familiar. Are you familiar with them?
With what?
Antifa?
Oh, yeah, I think direction is important since how they are definitely pointing to the right.
Okay. So, well, of course, even defining Antifa depends on where your perspective is. If you're on the left, Antifa doesn't exist. It's a philosophy, it's not a group. It just means anti-fascist, and if you're not Antifa, you're a fascist. Extreme left. You pacifist pussy. We need to fight those Nazis, and by Nazis, I mean anybody to the right of Bernie Sanders. Now, center left. Will you shut up, please? You are just making us look bad. Center right. Antifa is just as bad as the right-wing terrorists. Center left again. Of course you'd say that, center right. You guys can't count. What do you expect? You said that vaccines are going to be more of a risk than COVID itself, and you said that Trump got more votes than Biden. Center right again. No, we don't believe Trump won. Only those extremists on the right still believe that. I cannot believe Trump convinced those Nazis to storm the Capitol. Now the right. It wasn't Trump. It wasn't the Nazis. It was Antifa. Extreme right. Fuck you. It was not Antifa. It was us. Don't give them the credit. So now you're probably all wondering where I stand on the topic of Antifa. Well, as soon as I find my script here, I've got it all spelled out for you in a little song and dance. I'm going to do this by memory now. Can you hear the background music? Should I turn it up a bit?
Yeah, a little up. It's at like 5% for us.
Okay.
Or put it closer to your computer if you can.
Okay. I'm guessing the battery's dying because this is as loud as it's going to get.
Okay.
They just threw some milkshakes and act like big snowflakes. But Fox News says they're terrorists who'll beat ya. They're just some silly punks who make us stink like skunks. Hell, they're not even organized. Antifa. All summer things were shattered. The voice of Black Lives Matter. Some didn't like the message they did preach, yeah. But now they could show their faces and say, oh no, we're not racist. We don't hate blacks. We only hate Antifa. And so we said, thank God, you're now the lightning rod. We're happy to pass that baton to you. I've held it way too long now as a Jew. Then January 6th, seditious parlor tricks. They still believed we were election thieves, yeah. Democracy in crisis, stormed by vanilla ISIS. Then the GOP said, wasn't me, it's gotta be Antifa. Inauguration Day, no threats from KKK. But out in Portland, someone had a beef, yeah. They smashed the DNC and ICE in effigy. For Christ's sake, why the hell so soon, Antifa? It made as much damn sense as right-wing threats to Pence. When Joe accomplished so much on day one. He stopped the wall, stopped the pipeline, did immigration reform, GOP rights, joined the Paris Accord, and the WHO and Biden did something about the pandemic. Just what the fuck else could the guy have done? But what did the Democrats have to say about that? They spoke of the young poet's powerful saga. They spoke of Garth Brooks and that grand Lady Gaga. And that nerdy girl who's the new fashionista. She kind of looks like me. But no one said a word about Antifa. You mean there was no mention of those left-wing extremes? While yes, in fact, there were a million silly Bernie memes. The cops put down the hammer, put those punks in the slammer, 'cause left or right, there's no excuse for violence. And the coverage that they got felt much worse than getting shot, 'cause what they got from the media was silence.
Fucking excellent. That was fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Yes. Yes.
I
So
loved
I've
it.
got, just kind of as a background, I did a lot of song parodies back in college, which was 30 years ago, actually more. And just when the pandemic hit, I started obsessively writing song stories, political rants about the pandemic. And so now I've got about, I think 60 songs and counting. So
Nice.
I've only performed a few of them for others. Some of them are I could lose my job because they're too political. That was actually one of my milder ones. I don't like Trump, just so you know. We're not supposed to talk about politics on the job. So
Everyone's so happy to just leave that dude in the dust as well.
yeah, but then he spawned these like Marjorie Greene and Josh Hawley and
I
Matt
know,
Gaetz
Jim Jordans and yeah.
and it's scary. I mean,
Yeah.
and some of it really isn't funny, but comedy's my way of coping with it.
Right. No, I loved it. I think that shit would work excellent as a video.
I've done it.
And it's so excellently and dense, well densely crafted. Like so, I think like just like you could I think by having just like a picture of Bernie Sanders up while you're talking about him or whatever, it'll just like make like shortcut, like people will get the jokes
Oh, I do
quicker.
have.
I love that. Yeah.
Let's see if I can put it in the chat. I did change a few words around because some of it was a little confusing what I was trying to get at. But but then I flubbed it when I said it this time anyway. But so let me find it. Your channel. So, and all my stuff, all my political. I do have three songs on YouTube that are public. The rest are not because, like I said, I got to be careful. But there we are back then. So that's it.
Loved it.
Oh, thank you. A lot more where they came from.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, now I feel the obligation to be vaguely political. But only vaguely. So Joe Biden used to talk about this a lot, but he doesn't talk about it as much anymore because people told him to shut the fuck up. So when Joe Biden sits on the toilet, he sits backwards on the toilet with his legs straddled over either side of the tank, and he uses the toilet tank as like a little desk, and he like gets some shit done while he's sitting on the toilet. This is real. He used to be really proud of this until he realized it was something to be ashamed of. I mean, it's like, I'm not saying that I'm upset that there's a new president who's got a good work ethic and is proud of it. All I'm saying is, ew, this is gross. And I would love to turn this bit into a longer bit about how other presidents shat, but I don't know anything about that. And I appreciate that. I mean, there's Taft, but like, we're not even going to touch that dude. Taft. Anyways.
Well, I'm impressed that you're a Canadian. You know more about our country's president's toilet habits than I ever did. All I knew was that Trump always, tweeted as he shat. But shat came out both ends, and but yeah.
Oh yeah, we're here in Canada. We're well read up on all of your latest politics, even your conspiracy theories. Did you know? People say Stanley Kubrick shot the moon landing, but he was such a purist that he demanded that it be shot on location. We also, the Proud Boys here in Canada. The Proud Boys actually started here in Canada. It's I guess it's just easier to have a strong cohesive racist movement start in a country that's basically mostly only white people anyways. It's like the training camp or something for moving in. America's the big leagues. America's big league racism. Yeah. It's the nationalism leagues, if we're being honest. Man.
I've got a story about conspiracy theories, and I wrote a song. You're familiar with Billy Joel's "We Didn't Start the Fire." So yes. Of course, that was one of the many batshit crazy conspiracy theories that have come out recently. Was that the Jews started the California wildfires with space lasers? So I've definitely got to come up with a remake of "We Didn't Start the Fire." So I did, and it was like all of the crazy conspiracy theories that have come up about 9/11, Sandy Hook, the pandemic, and made a song with a video and everything else, put it on YouTube, and it was immediately taken down for being hate speech.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
It's like I thought it was very clear it was mocking hate speech, not advocating it.
It's hard to tell when it's keyword based is the problem for the algorithm sometimes. Yeah.
So then I had to come up with a follow-up song called "Only the Good Get Banned." I'll perform that another time, but But I can't perform the "we didn't start the fire" one because I'll get in trouble for that.
Oh. That's unfortunate because, like, when they don't have people actually skimming through things, and I know there's a lot of people out there putting stuff up there, but that would have been great to have up there because it's satire. It's supposed to be funny, you know. That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Certain keywords get you shadow banned. It's a thing that happens. That's why I
Yeah.
find when I'm talking about sensitive subjects, it's useful to use double entendre.
Yeah.
For example, I have this whole bit about. Have you ever heard of the Coochie tunnels? So in the Vietnam War, the American GIs simply could not find the Vietnamese soldiers. They seemed to be coming from anywhere and everywhere, and they were hiding in a network of underground tunnels called the Coochie tunnels. And yes, that's a funny name. Yes, it's Coochie. And the Coochie were worth every last. I should also mention, the Vietnamese currency is called the dong, uh, and the Coochie were worth every last dong. And so much dong went into the Coochie. And as more and more dong went into the Coochie expanded. Now, part of the reason we're talking about such big numbers is Vietnamese dong are much smaller units than we're used to here in the West. I am still talking about the currency. Now, sometimes American GIs would approach a village and they'd see 10 or more kids come out of the Coochie. Now, that is a difficult sight to forget. Such utter devastation in Vietnam. And I find it's easier to talk about all of it in the context of accurate double entendre.
Yeah. It's clever. It's clever. That was hilarious.
That's my time.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Next up, we got Queen Momo.
Oh, me already? Oh, okay. Wait, that you did that for your time? I thought you were going
I
like.
I don't know. I mixed it up there. I mixed some crowd work into there. It was fun.
Ah, I got you. I got you. Okay. So let's see. Um, which one I want to do? Okay. So since we've been on this political thing, I guess I'll talk about school. Aha. Yes. So, you know, I want to say thank you to all the baby boomers out there. You told us to get an education. That's the thing to do. And yet you neglected to tell us about all the debt that we'd be left behind. So thank you so much for that. Because honestly and truly, what I know now, if I could slap myself back in the day, because Lord knows I didn't have frontal lobes that were developed, so I made a lot of impulsive decisions in college, like get married. Yeah, that happened. I was like, I love this person. He's gonna be in my life for the rest of my life. But to be honest with you, I should have listened to the signs. You know how they say that the universe speaks in whispers? I did not listen. I was young and dumb, very, very, very young and so very, very dumb. So, sign number one, I met this person on April 1st. Mm-hmm. April 1st in 2001. And we all know what happened in September. I didn't realize that would be foreshadowing of my marriage, just tumbling down. Ah, yes. Ah, sign number two. Sign number two. You know how names have meaning? Names have meaning. Well, his name meant trickster.
Hmm.
That was a sign. And sign number three. Mm, you know, it should be nice if you can actually pronounce a person's name. That was the third. Yep. His name has a click in it, y'all. It has a click in it. Dale. Yes, dale. And if you don't like get your eyes just right, you're gonna miss the click. So you just like, it's just kind of like and then you're wondering, how's this person gonna be able to take care of me if no one can pronounce his name? Because in the United States we have issues. If the name doesn't look right, they automatically assume you're black and they put your resume at the bottom of the pile. I mean, yeah, he was black and everything, but still. So we called him Dale. We just called him Dale. It made it so much easier, because Lord knows I needed him to get a job because, him being an immigrant and all, come to think of it, that's sign number 4. At least he got his green card from me, right? Right. So divorce is a thing. And I feel like I did it backwards because that impulsivity when you're young and dumb. Thanks, mom and dad. I should have grew up first, then go to college. But it's okay. It's okay. So I'm single for the first time in my adult life. That's pretty much the response I get from everybody. It's like dead silence, dead silence. But that's okay. It's okay. I'm learning. I am learning. I feel like when I was in high school, spending all that time on video games has helped me out in this world because our platforms just look different. I sold my soul to Sony, and now I sold my soul to Hinge. It's just like you just gotta pick the platform. So we have Tinder. Of course, if you want to get an STD, that's where you go to. The Tinder, the flame. It's going to start something. You're going to end up burning on Tinder. Then, of course, we have farmers only. And for those of you that are aware of your little country town where your family circle is a reef, yeah, that's for you. Talking to you, picking South Carolina. And then, of course, it's like you get carpal tunnel because you're like swiping right, swiping left. And if you really like someone, you swipe up for a super like. Am I right? But one of the things I'm realizing in this game of singlehood is where are the cheat codes? Like seriously. Like I want to find the Easter egg, is what I'm saying. I want that special thing where you put in that code that up, up, down, down, left, right, be a start. Yes, those of you who are out there and listening, yes. The Konami code, you know what I'm talking about. Yes, I miss Contra is what I'm saying. So, it's hard. It's hard being a nerdy girl when you look like this because they think that you don't bathe when you're a nerd. No, we bathe. Not all of us live with our parents, okay? I'm just saying, just putting that out there. I don't live with my parents, but yet I'm a nerd. Oh, you don't believe me? Oh, you don't believe me? Remember how I said I went to college and I'm in debt? Part of that debt is because I learned Japanese because I wanted to, watch cartoons without subtitles, okay? Just saying. Arigato gozaimasu. It doesn't help me at all being single.
So this
Just saying. But it does get me out of a lot of telemarketer calls. So $80,000 later, you too can avoid all your debtors and creditors. And that's what I have for y'all.
So you're saying when the creditors are going hard, you go mushy?
Actually, it's funny. I did that. I was actually in the middle of a session one day, and I was trying to get the person to laugh. So, my phone rang. I was like, "Oh, perfect time." I was like, "You want to see something funny?" So I picked up the phone, and I just like moshi moshi, and I just went into a whole thing, and they're looking at me funny, and I was like, "I just avoided a bill." The poor girl, she tried so hard. She's like, "Do you have someone that speaks English?" I was like, Asia guy mustn't. I just told her no, I don't. So I answered her question just in Japanese.
I love that.
But the main thing is the person. I got the person to laugh, and I was like, "Yay, session's over. You can go now."
Nice. I like the left right up bit with the whole Tinder bit. It's
Oh,
up for the super like that premium subscription shit. Although it's nothing new that liking someone a lot is expensive.
that is true. That is very true. I'm gonna write that down. Liking someone a lot is very expensive.
I love the whole routine, how you both start and then circle back to the the college debts and
Yeah.
and I was also just on a personal level, I was laughing at the whole learning Japanese to watch the anime cartoons because both my daughters were into anime cartoons, and they didn't take Japanese, although I think my daughter wanted to, and I somehow talked her out of it. And like, I remember how you struggled through Spanish, you want to struggle through this too.
Aww.
I'm wearing that that Japanese Canadian closing ceremonies Olympic jacket, that new shit that everyone's been fucking making fun of
Oh, that's hilarious.
With Tokyo on the back and shit. Fucking fuck it. I liked that shit a lot. No, that was really good. I
That's
love this
funny.
jacket. I love this jacket so much.
It's a dope jacket. It's a dope
It's
jacket. Carolyn, it's
fire.
funny you mentioned Spanish. That was my major.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I majored
Spanish?
in Spanish. Mm-hmm.
Claro que sí.
Well, again,
Sí, claro.
usalo.
Yeah.
Did you ever? Okay, I have to say in English because I didn't major in Spanish, just minor. Do you use it a lot in your job?
Yes, I provide therapeutic services in Spanish.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
But
funny. Yeah.
oh, I was gonna say, but on stage, I just tell people all I got from it was I poppy, and it doesn't help me with dating. So I want to get a shirt that says I poppy, and then for the guys, I'll put I mommy and be like, there you go.
My mom tried to convince me to become a bilingual psychotherapist. It's like I'm having enough trouble understanding people in our native language. There's no way I could do it in a second language. So hats off to you.
It's not too bad. The main thing is when you know you're pressed for time because you have another patient, is getting past the cultural part of the storytelling.
Oh.
Yeah. Because, like, you'll have like a little abuelita that comes in. She has to tell you about how her nephew had to go to the store because of something, something, something. But the ailment was that she had a issue with her, like, colon or something. I'm like, could we just go to the colon part? Like, you could have just told me that so I could tell your doctor that you're on any medication. But it's all good. It's all good.
I had when I was in high school, I was in uh, Shanghai, and I had ended up with a therapist one time whose first language was Spanish, their second language was English, and I kept trying to explain uh, why I was mad at my mom, and it was because I was a teenager, right? But I had to explain it, like she didn't understand the vocabulary words I was making. So I have to explain why I was mad at my mom in smaller and smaller and smaller terms, and that was somehow helpful. I through the process of translating my pain into simple words, I processed the anger.
No, it makes sense.
So
It
having
makes
so
sense.
yeah, it was my only that was I was like, yeah, it's different.
If it
Yeah,
works.
yeah, it worked. Yeah, that bilingual therapist was very helpful in that regard.
Did you pick up any Chinese while you were there?
我可以是汉语一点点，我的汉语是马马虎虎。I can speak a little bit of English and Spanish still, and all the Japanese I used to know because I lived in Japan for like a year, but I was really young, so I like learned a lot really quick, and then like lost it all really quick when I started learning Thai and other shit. So like
Oh, wow.
yeah, all that shit. It's use it or lose it with languages. I'll tell you what.
It's true. But once you're grounded in one, like, so I
Yeah.
rarely use Japanese nowadays. I actually was at one point more fluent in Japanese than Spanish. That's why I almost failed my major. And yeah, I really like anime. So but it's once it's there, it's almost like riding a bicycle because sometimes I'll just start watching anime and I'm like, oh, thank God it's still there. I spent all this money.
I just feel like so much of it falls away, and sometimes I just feel like watashi wa boku desu.
Oh, kawaii so no.
Oh, so desu.
Now, I did use a combination of Hebrew and Spanish when I was in China.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
that is
where were you
cool.
in China?
I went on a school trip with each kid. We had the opportunity to go visit Beijing,
Shit.
Shenyang, Shanghai, and then Hangzhou on one trip, and then I'm blanking on it. It begins with an X for another. But we were on the Great Wall, and on my first trip, and I walked past these women, and I heard them speaking Hebrew. So I called out Ivrit, which is Hebrew in Hebrew, and they started talking to me. And I tried to talk to them, and so this is what my background in Hebrew is. Went to Hebrew school for 3 years, and what we would do is the teacher would say, open your prayer book to page 347 and then copy everything. So we didn't actually learn any useful language. We just learned how to memorize prayers. We learned a little bit, like maybe toddler level conversation. So I'm trying to speak to these Israelis in China, and I keep speaking this combination of Hebrew and Spanish because my brain says English, not English. So whenever I couldn't think of, and then it wasn't until after the fact that I realized they were looking at me weird. Oh, because you're speaking Spanish or some Hebrew, English, Spanish, mishmash. So I try to speak to English. I have no problems just speaking my native language. I try to stick to that one.
Fair.
I screw my native
Yeah.
language up enough.
And it does get jumbled up sometimes, I will admit, because when I lived in Spain and I came back and I was in my Japanese class, like all the rest of my classmates knew I had just got back from Spain. So I was quiet, and usually I'm not quiet in class. And then my teacher just called out on me and she said something in Japanese and I responded in Spanish. And I had a really strong lisp when I got back. And so the whole class just busted out laughing. I was like, y'all set me up. That's not fair.
Ay, Dios mío.
So you might appreciate this one. I heard about a woman who knew both Spanish and Japanese, or she got back from Japan, and evidently the word ano in Japanese is like saying Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So she's at a Mexican restaurant, and she's trying to show off that she knows she made the same mistake I did, mixing up languages, and so she's saying, los tortillos, ano, los burritos, ano, and
Oh
doesn't
no.
understand. Yeah, Jester, I don't know if you know what ano is in Spanish, but it means anus.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dios
Oh,
mío.
poor.
No es bien.
Oh, poor girl. Pobrecita. Oh, that's hilarious,
It's bad
though.
enough that everybody learns when they're speaking that instead of saying, I am 16 years old, you say I have 16 anuses, because everyone makes that
Oh,
mistake.
yeah.
Ano, año.
Yeah, they do. They do. That one's funny. And then point and whore,
And
they make that
años
mistake
with
as
that
Oh,
well.
tilde. That's
punta
like saying,
gorda, yes.
like having a weird anus.
Yeah, that's funny.
Oh, that's why in
The
the
tilde.
town. I'm sorry, I missed it, Jester.
No, I was saying, like, with that tilde, it's like
Yeah.
saying, like, I have 16 weird anuses.
Oh, I got it. But the town in Florida, Punta Gorda, that's why they pronounce it Punta Gorda. They anglicize it because if you mispronounce it and say Punta Gorda, you just said fat horse. So.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
oh
Yep.
man.
Yep.
Jester, I know if you're familiar with any, if what I'm saying is like kindergarten level Spanish, or if you're familiar with this. So.
Solo comprende un poco, pero estudiar español en los Estados Unidos y
Muy
las
bien.
Very
escuelas
good.
fue mal.
But you
Oh,
speak it with
lo
such a great American
siento.
accent, I can understand you.
Great. Then it works. I don't speak
Hmm.
the Spanish.
No, that honest and truly, like, I'm so glad I got rid of that list, Amanda. It's
Oh.
just
All right. Well, we're nearing the end of the show now, so we're gonna do our plugs. In lieu of plugs, right now, I'm gonna quickly highlight some of the sexual abuse I've received during the stream. Uh, Jester, answer you jalapeno chili fucker. Hold up. There's some golden ones in here. Big Daddy Jester, answer your phone, Jester. They were blowing me up. Show me your ass, you redhead fuck. I want to see you in yoga pants. Jester, how much you really packing in those tight ass jeans? Jester, you looking so fucking sexy. Fuck me, Jester. Fuck me, daddy. Yes, you fucking redhead, show me your fire cock. Yes, please show. There was consensus, you guys. So that's it's user engagement is critical. So I just wanted to thank you. Thank you. Hey. Next, Carolyn.
I'm sorry, did you say something to me?
Me? What? No. Hmm?
I just heard my name, and
No,
I
yeah,
guess
yeah.
I.
It's your opportunity to plug any upcoming shows that you may have coming up.
Oh, yes. I am with Tucson's Unscrewed Theater. We do improv, and our next show is on Sunday, May 2nd at, I can't even tell you what time it's at, especially since I'm in multiple time zones, but check out unscrewedtheater.org and hope to see you there. Like, unless you're that person who's been sexually harassing Jester, and then I don't want to see you.
Yeah.
Might go. Okay. So, Queen Momo, I have an upcoming show in Charlotte, North Carolina on May 5th. Just check out my Facebook page, Truly Queen Momo. Also on Instagram, Truly Queen Momo. I try to be consistent. And Twitter, Truly Queen Momo. I have a TikTok, Truly Queen Momo. And on the TikTok, I am working on a character called the Cougar Princess. I figured since I continue to get older and my favorite characters do not, I'm just going to talk crap about them and how they're young and dumb. Yep. So check me out on those platforms.
So, thank you, everybody. This has been the Work Comedy Workshop, episode number 322.